Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to her full crouch game. This is a lot of where Leixia kind of shines. While standing A is the best step killer she has, in my opinion, period. It has good range. It has good range, stuns on counter hit. You know, so it's safe to everybody. And if you can get used to doing it, you know, out of standing, the instant version, it's a really helpful tool. By the way, when I say instant or do it from standing, it just simply means you hold the block button and you tap down the crouch, you release it to use the A. Now to do the instant version, you want to almost press guard and down at the same time and release it as soon as possible and pressing the A. It's 2 inputs, and the faster you can do it, it'll look like she's not even crouching, and it takes away from the startup frames. Now that we've gotten past that, we've got while standing B. Now, while standing B on its own is pretty good. It's an auto evade. It steps to her left, moves that track to the right side, will catch her, but for the most part, it's a good evasive trap. But what makes this move really good is when you boost it with a Brave Edge. When you boost it with a Brave Edge, the move suddenly becomes safe. It launches behind her, gives her all kind of combos, and if it makes a vertical whiff, it does a decent amount of damage. The regular one is unsafe, but it does knock down. So if it evades successfully, you're still going to get the desired result. Then there's her while standing K. This move is very underrated in my opinion. It tech crouches throughout. It's -2 on block, but it's +10 on hit. It's the most frame advantage she's going to get on a regular hit. It's so much advantage that if you do it, AA beats anything else that they try other than manual ducking. So, you know, it's good. It's a very strong move. It's good on block, and it actually is one of the few guard crush moves that you're going to need for her best follow-up combos. But we'll get more into that as this thing goes on. We already talked about while standing A plus B, so those are her while standing mix-ups. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a short break, and we're going to move on to her basic punishers and stances. Okay, so we're going to look at Leixia's basic punishers. Now, we changed characters because Natsu has a few notable moves that you'll see every Natsu use, and most characters won't be able to do much about, but Leixia can. So, to get started with our basic punish game, the punishers that she has are going to fall into 5 different move categories. You're basically going to be using AA for I-11. You're going to be using if you block something that's -12, she has her critical edge, which is a nice 76 damage for a 12 frame move. For 13 and above, if you don't want to spend the meter, you have 2 options. You have her K, which is 13 frames, but you're probably not ever going to use this move. And the reason being is because her 6B is the same amount of frames, does more damage, and actually leaves her at much more advantage on hit. Anything you can punish with K, you can punish with 6B instead. So there's really no need to ever really throw that out there for that purpose. Plus, 6B has enders to it that can mix them up on hit. After that, on I-14 you have BB, which is nice. But more importantly, you get 6KK, and that frees up so much of her offense, and that move by itself is pretty much a nice momentum killer. So if you have a move that's -14 on block, 6KK is your go-to move, especially if it's a low. For example here, if you have Natsu throw a bomb, bomb is, on its own, it's unsafe. If you block it, 6KK is free. You're not going to be able to recover. You're not going to be able to do BB because you're still in crouch and it'll give you the rising motion. But 6KK will punish it at I-14 and get you to be able to start your offense. That's probably her most important punisher, so keep that in mind. After that, you pretty much have 3B, and that's it. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier on, she doesn't do the most damage, and she'll be punishing more of the most unsafe moves in the game with 3B into combos. But at least it keeps your options narrow, and you don't have to worry about finding out which move in her move list punishes everything. For example, Natsu's A plus B is a move that you'll see a lot because it tech jumps, it catches step, it knocks down, and it leads to some combos, especially on counter hit. But Leixia can punish this with her AA because of how fast it is. I don't think she can punish with... Oh, okay. Well, that must have changed in the patch. They made it slightly more unsafe. But yeah, you can't punish it with K or 6B, but it's at least -12. So if you're on point with it, AA is free every time, and it allows her to start her offense. So that's pretty much it for basic punishers. Her A6 is -14. That's going to get 6 KK punished. Let me see if I can try and find something here that's 3B punishable. Maybe that. Yeah. Okay. So 3B is going to punish anything that's -17 or worse. So that's pretty much the base of Leixia's punish game. So what we're going to do now is go into stances. Now, Leixia's stances, there's only 2 of them, and neither one of them are really used in the conventional way that stances are used. Most stances in the game give you access to a number of different attacks, or, auto GIs and things like that. With Leixia, you don't get that. With Leixia, she has her B plus K, which I believe is called Huli. But anyway, it's her B plus K, it tech crouches and moves forward. And it's a good move to throw in there. It tech crouches on frame 1, so it'll tech crouch things that most other characters probably can't due to startup. But it is pretty slow. The thing that it does, though, is it puts you in crouch. So when you're done with the stance, and you press a button, you're already doing a while rising move. You can block out of this stance. You can use other moves from crouch, like 6KK. But for the most part, it's used on wake up after you knock somebody down to mix them up with different options. It does not have any attacks that come out of it on its own. Her only other stance is her 22A8 B plus K, which does auto GI, but it's basically the same thing as if you were to just take a quick step. All the attacks from it, 22A, 22B, 22K, and 22K slide A. Let's see if I can get it here. There you go. They're all the same. It's pretty much putting her in a state of quick step. That auto GI will be explained more in depth later, but those are the only 2 stances that this character has. Pretty much, that's what you're going to get from this character at a basic level. Her key moves, her best punishers, what her stances are for, her full crouch game. So hopefully that will get a lot of you off to, start just familiarizing yourself with her moveset and developing a game plan around these moves. In part 2, the next installment, I'm going to go into basic combos and, general applications of Wake Up. So, stick around. This has been Zero Effect from 8wayrun.com, and I'll see you later.